Hello everyone and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have another holiday lesson for you guys. It's an intermediate level lesson, but it's not about Christmas and it's not about New Year's. So what's this holiday, Marco?
It's like after Christmas but before New Year's.
Okay, so let's look at this holiday in today's vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
Alright, so as you noticed in the title, this is called Boxing Day.
Boom, boom, boom.
Right.
So like fighting boxing
No. Kind of like boxes, right? It's more related to boxes.
Exactly. So this is a holiday that we don't actually celebrate in America. It's celebrated in what are called Commonwealth countries. That means countries that used to be a part of Great Britain or that are a part of Great Britain. So England, Scotland, Canada, Australia. And this is a day where, well, it's considered a holiday because it's a bank holiday. That means all the banks close. No one's at work. It's the day after Christmas, so it's December 26th. And it's traditionally a day when you give money or gifts to the poor.
Okay. And so this is more or less what we're going to be talking about, but more modern, right? Before it was like that, but now it's kind of become this shopping thing, right?
It has. It's a day when everyone goes to the sales after Christmas to return things or to buy new things. So we're going to hear about this right away in today's dialogue. And when we come back, we'll be talking about some of the phrases and words that you've heard.
What do you think of this one?
So-so.
And this one? Too flashy?
Nah, not too flashy.
Ugh, and this sweater from my aunt, isn't it hideous?
Yes.
Are you even listening? I'm trying to have a conversation with you.
And I'm trying to watch the game, but you're yapping on about your new clothes.
Well, I have to decide which gifts to keep and which to exchange for better ones when I go to the Boxing Day sales this afternoon.
Well, could you do me the favor of making this quick? It's the third quarter and you've been blabbering on since the first.
Oh, your precious game. You watch the same game every year, and each year your beloved hometown team loses by at least 3 goals.
Oh, no, you didn't. You didn't just insult the Salisbury Seals, did you? Why don't you just go return all those stupid clothes and not come back until the sales are over?
I might just. Enjoy your stupid game.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
All right, great. So we're back, and interesting, the couple fighting right after Christmas.
Well, I think it's very common to hear fights around the holidays. People are very stressed out.
And tired of dealing with family and presents and all the stress, right?
Exactly.
But we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Right now, why don't we take a look at 4 key words in language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, these first 2 words are words that the wife uses in talking about some of these clothes that she got as presents. So she says, well, she asks her husband, is this too flashy?
Flashy.
Flashy.
All right, so you know flash, like the camera flash, right?
Yeah.
This big light. Now, flashy when you're talking about clothes or an object, it's too noticeable, right?
It's too noticeable, too bright, too loud. So, for example, a black shirt is not flashy.
But an orange shirt.
An orange shirt with buttons and bells and
Black.
rhinestones, diamonds, that's flashy.
All right,
okay?
flashy.
Flashy can also mean something that it's supposed to look expensive.
Okay. So that sweater was a little bit flashy according to her. And but also she talked about another sweater being hideous.
So hideous is an ugly word and it means ugly.
Ugly.
Okay, so I could say this sweater is hideous. That means it's not only ugly, it's really ugly.
Okay, it's more than ugly. All right, a hideous sweater. And moving on, the guy now was a little bit irritated and stressed out, and he said, you keep yapping on about your new clothes. So what is this yapping on?
Well, yap is a sound like yap, 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 yap.
Right.
So yapping, to yap on about means to continue to talk and talk and talk about something.
Okay.
Because he's watching the football game on
Right.
TV and she's talking and talking and talking and he's annoyed. So this is rude. You say, stop yapping about this, or stop yapping on about your game.
All right.
It's very rude. It means just stop talking. I'm annoyed.
And well, then he mentioned another phrase that is pretty much the same thing, right? Blabbering on.
To blabber on about, means to talk about something but to not really make sense. Okay, so it's just worthless talk.
So you're just talking to talk. You're not really saying anything interesting.
Exactly. And so sometimes we make fun of people who blabber on about things because they're not important to us or they sound stupid.
All right. Okay, so 4 key words there. Blabbering on, yapping on. Why don't we listen to them again in the dialogue?
What do you think of this one?
So-so.
And this one? Too flashy?
Nah, not too flashy.
Ugh, and this sweater from my aunt, isn't it hideous?
I guess.
Are you even listening? I'm trying to have a conversation with you.
And I'm trying to watch the game, but you're yapping on about your new clothes.
Well, I have to decide which gifts to keep and which to exchange for better ones when I go to the Boxing Day sales this afternoon.
Well, could you do me the favor of making this quick? It's the 3rd quarter and you've been blabbering on since the 1st.
Oh, your precious game. You watch the same game every year, and each year your beloved hometown team loses by at least 3 goals.
Oh, no, you didn't. You didn't just insult the Salisbury Seals, did you? Why don't you just go return all those stupid clothes and not come back until the sales are over?
I might just enjoy your stupid game.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
All right, we're back. So now we have a couple of different phrases that we want to look at on Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Okay, so this first phrase is very closely related to the days after Christmas, especially here on Boxing Day. We've got someone who's talking about going to the stores, to the sales, to exchange her gifts for better gifts. Okay, to exchange something for something better. This is a very common construction. It's an important phrase when talking about shopping.
So when we look at this construction, you would say to exchange this sweater for a better one or for a larger one.
Exactly. So you can change the adjective, the word that's describing it. So you can say to exchange these shoes for bigger ones. I could also joke and I could say, I'm going to exchange my boyfriend for a better one
Right.
if he's being rude to me.
Okay, so to exchange something for something else.
Exactly.
All right. And then we saw another phrase that the husband replied to when she offended him with his football team. He said, "Oh, no, you didn't."
Didn't what?
I know, didn't what? No, you didn't what?
All right, so this, like you said, doesn't make sense alone, but some cultural context might help. In English, we often say this phrase to mean, "Oh no, you didn't just say that."
Oh, you didn't just insult my team.
He's saying, "I can't believe you just said that." He's upset because what she said was rude or mean.
Okay.
Okay, so I could say, Marco, I think Ecuador sucks.
Oh no, you didn't.
I did just say it. I don't think so, actually.
Right.
But
so it's usually a response, right? You have to wait until somebody maybe says something mean or something that, really hurts your feelings or you don't agree with when you respond to this. But you're usually very, very offended, right?
Exactly. It's always a response to a comment that has made you angry or upset.
Okay. And our last phrase is when they finished talking and they were fighting, she left and said, "I might just."
Just what?
I know, just what?
See, again, these are common phrases, but they don't seem to make much sense alone. I might just. So let's listen to, this is a response. Again, this is a response to the line before it. Why don't you just go and return all of those stupid clothes and not come back until much later? And she says, I might just do exactly what you just said.
Okay.
She's threatening him. She's saying, I might just go out and not come back for 10 hours.
All right, I might just do that.
Okay, so that's a way to say, what you said, I might do that. And I'm threatening you.
So again, it's usually a response, right? Or a threat, as you said.
So I could say, Marco, why don't you just leave?
All right, I might just.
Uh-oh. What am I going to do in the studio
By
alone?
yourself. All right, so 3 interesting phrases there. Why don't we listen to all the words and phrases again in our dialogue one last time?
What do you think of this one?
So-so.
And this one? Too flashy?
Nah, not too flashy.
Ugh, and this sweater from my aunt, isn't it hideous?
Yes.
Are you even listening? I'm trying to have a conversation with you.
And I'm trying to watch the game, but you're yapping on about your new clothes.
Well, I have to decide which gifts to keep and which to exchange for better ones when I go to the Boxing Day sales this afternoon.
Well, could you do me the favor of making this quick? It's the third quarter and you've been blabbering on since the first.
Oh, your precious game. You watch the same game every year, and each year your beloved hometown team loses by at least 3 goals.
Oh, no, you didn't. You didn't just insult the Salisbury Seals, did you? Why don't you just go return all those stupid clothes and not come back until the sales are over?
I might just enjoy your stupid game.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
All right, we're back. So Boxing Day, as you said, is usually a Commonwealth thing. In the United States, you don't really have it, right?
We do not. My family, I don't know why, but my family sometimes celebrates it. We have friends who come over and we have a nice Boxing Day meal. But
okay.
I've been told that the tradition in Commonwealth countries is to watch sporting events, local sporting events, and to go shopping for all these sales and bargains and exchange all those ugly, hideous, annoying, or bad gifts that you received at Christmas.
Right. So it's usually like the after Christmas sales.
Exactly. So if you have any special Boxing Day traditions, I'd be very curious to hear them. Again, not a holiday related to the sport boxing. It's spelled the same way and it looks the same, but they're very different. No. So if you have any stories or questions about the things that we talked about today, please do let us know on our website, englishpod.com.
All right. We'll see you guys there. And until next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Smart and noticeable, but in a rather vulgar way. Flashy. Bark in a high-pitched tone. Nag. Yap. Give something and receive something in return. Exchange. An occasion for buying at special price. Sale. Help someone. Do someone the favor.
Let's try that faster.
Give something and receive something in return. Exchange. Smart and noticeable, but in a rather vulgar way. Flashy. Bark in a high-pitched tone. Nag. Yap. Help someone. Do someone the favor. An occasion for buying at special price. Sale.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Flashy. I don't like jewelry with lots of diamonds because I think it is too flashy. Flashy. Her sequined dress was way too flashy. Flashy. The Las Vegas Strip is known to have flashy hotels, flashy casinos, and flashy cars. Yap. I tried to think of an excuse to leave as my date kept on yapping about sports statistics. Yap. She yapped on all night about how her and her prom date were meant for each other. Yap. He kept yapping on and on about how he was right and his father was wrong. Exchange. Most stores have an exchange policy if you want to return what you bought. Exchange. When I got home, I found out that the color of the tablecloth didn't match the kitchen at all, so I took it back to the store and exchanged it for a different color the next day. Exchange. In exchange for your sparkle sticker, I will give you 2 of my big stickers. Sale. Many stores expand their Boxing Day sales up until New Year's Eve. Sale. The mall is usually very crowded on Boxing Day because of the special sales. Sale. Clearance sales usually have big discounts because the purpose of the sale is to get rid of all the old merchandise. Do someone the favor. Can you do me the favor of turning off the television? It's on all the time. Do someone the favor. Can you do us the favor of handing over your wallet so no one will get hurt? Do someone the favor. Can you do me the favor of letting me know you have to use the bathroom before we get into the car?
Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And we're bringing you the final lesson of our job interview series.
That's right. And in this lesson, we're going to be focusing on 2 very, very common but sometimes difficult questions.
Okay, so we've talked about preparing for the job interview in part 1. Part 2, we talked about educational background and work experience. And in part 3, what are we going to be looking at?
We're going to be looking at 2 questions: why we should hire you, and your greatest weakness.
Okay, so these are the classic, common questions that you'll get at a job interview, right?
That's right. So why don't we just get started, and we'll take a listen to the dialogue and see how our interviewee handles these questions.
Very good. Now, I have a couple of final questions.
I hope they're not too hard.
Yes. Well, why should we hire you?
I think that I would be a perfect fit in this company. I have a unique combination of strong technical acumen with outstanding soft skills. You know, I excel at building strong, long-term consumer relationships. For example, when I headed the customer support department in my previous company, our team resolved about 70% of our customers' problems. I decided that we needed better information and technical preparation on our products. So after, I implemented a series of training sessions in coordination with our technical department. We were able to solve 90% of our customers' issues. Given the opportunity, I could bring this kind of success to this company.
Woo. Impressive. So, what would you consider to be your greatest weakness?
To be honest, I struggle with organization and time management. Punctuality has never been a strength of mine. I find it hard to organize my time effectively. I've actually addressed this weakness recently by attending a workshop on efficient time management. It helped me a lot by providing me with great insights on how to get organized and use my time efficiently. So I think I'm getting better now.
Great. Well, let me tell you that I am very pleased with this interview. We are shortlisting our candidates this week, and next week we will inform our shortlisted candidates of the day and time for a second interview with our CEO.
Great, thanks a lot. I hope to hear from you. Goodbye.
Well, our interviewee is doing very well, but I think he had a little bit too many beans or chili.
Oh my God. Like, this is probably the most embarrassing thing I can think of.
But he doesn't say anything, so I don't know. Maybe he should have said, "Oh, pardon me, excuse me," or something.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a controversy.
Yeah. Okay, but what isn't a controversy is the language, because there's some great stuff in here.
All right. So let's take a look at the language in Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
All right, we've got some great phrases and words for you to use when you're talking about what sort of benefits and skills and experience and expertise you can bring to a company.
Okay. The first thing that he said, and it's a very interesting word, he said technical acumen.
Technical acumen.
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 This is a really hard word. What is acumen?
It's basically insight and understanding and the ability to make good and difficult decisions.
Okay, so he has a very strong technical acumen.
So a strong insight or understanding of technical issues.
Okay, or I can change it and maybe say, I have a very strong business acumen.
Exactly. These are the two most common ways that this word is used. Technical acumen, business acumen.
Okay, great. Now let's take a look at another word which is very interesting because everybody knows it.
Yes.
Excel.
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 Now, Excel is, of course, the software that you use, right?
Yeah. But here it's a verb meaning to be really, really good at something.
Right. To be the best, maybe.
Yeah.
To excel at something.
Yes. So I excel at cooking.
All right. So excel, you are the best.
I mean, that's not really going to help me in a job interview, but the next word might.
Head.
Head.
Well, in the dialogue, we heard it as headed in the past, right?
Yeah, that's right. He headed the customer support department.
So I think this is I think this is a great word to use when you were saying I was the leader. Mm-hmm. I was the main person in charge.
Yeah, the manager.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a nice verb to use to show that you were leading something.
Okay. Okay, now for the next word. Struggle.
To struggle.
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 So what does struggle mean?
It means that you have difficulty doing something.
So it's hard for you.
Yeah.
For example, when I was in school, I struggled with math.
Okay, and now I struggle with Chinese.
Exactly. So to have a hard time.
Yeah. Why don't we hear a couple of examples of how this word is used?
Example 1.
We're really struggling to reach our sales target.
Example 2.
Yeah, to be honest, I do struggle with time management.
Example 3.
The teacher farted in class and I really had to struggle not to laugh.
Okay, so great examples. Let's move on to our next word. Punctuality.
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 Okay, so to be punctual.
It means to be on time, always.
Always. So punctuality would be the noun form.
Right, so the condition or the state of always being on time.
Right. So punctuality, to be punctual.
Yeah, and our interviewee struggles with punctuality.
Right, like me.
I guess you guys have something in common.
We do. Now, he has a problem with punctuality, but he said he has addressed this weakness.
Yes, to address.
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 Now, if you notice, it's spelled the same way as address,
That's right.
but you pronounce it differently.
So the verb address has the stress on the second syllable.
Okay, address.
Yes.
And that means to
Deal with.
deal with the problem,
Yeah,
to acknowledge the problem.
And to try and solve it.
And to try and solve it. Okay. So different from your home address where you live.
Yeah. And there the stress is on the first syllable.
Address.
Right.
Perfect. Very good. Okay, so let's listen to this dialogue one more time, and then we'll come back and talk about these two questions: greatest weakness and why should we hire you?
Very good. Now, I have a couple of final questions.
I hope they're not too hard.
Well, why should we hire you?
I think that I would be a perfect fit in this company. I have a unique combination of strong technical acumen with outstanding soft skills. I excel at building strong, long-term consumer relationships. For example, when I headed the customer support department in my previous company, our team resolved about 70% of our customers' problems. I decided that we needed better information and technical preparation on our products. So after, I implemented a series of training sessions in coordination with our technical department. We were able to solve 90% of our customers' issues. Given the opportunity, I could bring this kind of success to this company.
Woo. Impressive. So, what would you consider to be your greatest weakness?
To be honest, I struggle with organization and time management. Punctuality has never been a strength of mine. I find it hard to organize my time effectively. I've actually addressed this weakness recently by attending a workshop on efficient time management. It helped me a lot by providing me with great insights on how to get organized and use my time efficiently. So I think I'm getting better now.
Great. Well, let me tell you that I am very pleased with this interview. We are shortlisting our candidates this week, and next week we will inform our shortlisted candidates of the day and time for a second interview with our CEO.
Great, thanks a lot. I hope to hear from you. Goodbye.
All right, Marco. Well, this classic question, why should we hire you? I think you'll hear it in many, many different interviews. And how did he deal with it here?
Well, the first thing that he said is very, very important because they're asking you why. So your immediate reaction would be to answer with because or I think that. But there's a different way of approaching it, which is a little bit more professional. He said, I think that I would be a perfect fit in this company.
I think I would be a perfect fit in this company.
That's how he started his answer, and then he explained why.
So this sounds really strong, doesn't it?
Yeah, basically, it just makes you seem to be very confident and puts you like you are already part of the company.
So this is a great way to start off this question, but you got to follow this up with some information. So what kind of information should you be giving?
Well, like we talked about in your work experience, the same thing goes here. What do you have to offer to this company? What special skills or insights or experience can you bring that would help us?
Yeah, that nobody else can bring.
Exactly. So, again, you have to start talking about your strengths and your previous experience, but with examples, right?
Very, very specific examples. And whenever you can, throw in some numbers or some specific successes that you have had.
Exactly. And once you've talked about these things, you can close off this answer by saying, given the opportunity, I could bring this kind of success to this company.
Given the opportunity, I could bring this kind of success to this company.
So that is just like a magical sentence saying like, if you give me the chance, I will demonstrate how good I am and how I can help this company.
Yes, a really, really strong closing argument.
Yes. So that's the way you should more or less approach that question, right?
All right, but let's turn now to the classic question, your greatest weakness.
What is your greatest weakness? When you get this question, be sure to not say, My greatest weakness is I work too much,
My greatest weakness is I'm a workaholic.
right? Or, what was it? Oh, or I am a perfectionist.
Yeah, these we can see right through these. I mean,
Right.
they're too obvious and they're too silly. I mean, everyone has a weakness, so don't try and turn it around into a strength. I just don't think that's a good idea.
Okay. So, yeah, be sure to stay away from these answers. But you can say anything. Like in this case, he has a problem with being on time.
Yep.
So be honest, say what one of your greatest weaknesses are, but the key to making this weakness look good is saying what you are doing to solve this weakness.
Exactly. So really be truthful. Tell the interviewer what you're not good at, because there's obviously something that you're not good at.
Exactly. So you can say, I am usually late, but I am getting more organized. I am doing the seminar.
Yeah.
Let the interviewer know that you are trying to improve this weakness.
Exactly.
And be sure to also think about your strength, right?
Yeah, be prepared to answer the question, what is your greatest strength?
So, and again, when you're talking about your strengths, be sure it's something more specific than saying, oh, I'm very responsible.
Yeah. You want to be as specific as you can, and again, give those examples, give those successes, give those numbers.
Right, exactly. So think about your weaknesses, think about your strengths. If you don't know them, ask people, to ask your colleagues or ask your friends, what do you think is my greatest strength? Maybe you're a funny person. That's a strength.
Yes.
Okay. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. The right person for the job.
Perfect fit.
The ability to think clearly and make good decisions.
Acumen.
Be superior to, among the best.
Excel.
To be the leader of something.
Head.
To make something active or effective.
Implement.
A meeting where people acquire skills and knowledge about a subject.
Training session.
Have a difficult time.
Struggle.
Arriving or doing something at the expected or planned time.
Punctuality.
To deal with a matter, issue, problem, etc.
Address.
To select a few candidates in order to make a final selection or decision.
Short list.
Someone or something that is likely to succeed or to be chosen.
Prospect.
Curriculum vitae, a short document that describes your education, work experience, etc.
CV.
A weakness that someone has.
Shortcoming.
A valuable or beneficial thing or ability that a person has.
Asset.
A great success or achievement a person has. Triumph. Let's try that faster. The right person for the job.
Perfect fit.
Arriving or doing something at the expected or planned time.
Punctuality.
A meeting where people acquire skills and knowledge about a subject.
Training session.
A great success or achievement a person has. Triumph. Someone or something that is likely to succeed or to be chosen.
Prospect.
Have a difficult time.
Struggle.
The ability to think clearly and make good decisions.
Acumen.
A weakness that someone has.
Shortcoming.
To select a few candidates in order to make a final selection or decision.
Short list.
Be superior to, among the best.
Excel.
To deal with a matter, issue, problem, etc.
Address.
To be the leader of something.
Head.
A valuable or beneficial thing or ability that a person has.
Asset.
To make something active or effective.
Implement.
Curriculum vitae. A short document that describes your education, work experience, etc.
CV.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Excel. When I was a kid, I excelled in math. Excel. Our company currently excels at customer service. Excel. I excel at writing code. Head. I'm heading a new division in our company. Head. She headed up the marketing efforts for our new product. Head. I would like to head this new project. Struggle. When I was in school, I really struggled with physics. Struggle. After many years of struggling, I finally became rich. Struggle. To be honest, I do struggle with time management. Address. We didn't know that problem existed, but we will address it this week. Address. We need to address this issue before it gets too big. Address. Addressing these problems is a top priority for this company. Acumen. Bob brings business acumen, knowledge, and experience. He's an asset to this company. Acumen. We must hire a programmer with strong technical acumen. Acumen. I'm sorry, we cannot hire you at this time since the position requires someone with stronger business acumen.
The problem today that we're going to be addressing is translating too much in your head when speaking English. Why is that a problem? And I see that happening so much with students. You take much longer to come up with a sentence, for example. And as a teacher, as an experienced teacher myself, I know when the student is translating, because usually when the student says something, the word order or the sentence itself is a little bit off or weird. So to me, it's a clear indication that the person is still translating in their head. So how can we fix this, Xenia? So I'm going to throw it to you. I mean, what is one thing that our followers should start doing more to fix that?
I think we should be honest with our viewers, with our listeners. That's not easy, right? But the good thing is, like any other skill, like we talk a lot about speaking in English and practicing speaking and reading and listening and having a lot of practice, right? With those skills. But thinking in English is just another skill. So you can train your brain to think in English, right? It's possible, it's doable. And just to give you some, some idea of how you can do that, I wanted to share with you guys that for me personally, thinking in English is very close to this idea of improvisation. It's because thoughts come to us randomly, right? Like more often than not, we're not in control of our thoughts. Let's say okay, here I am crossing the road and suddenly I find myself thinking about my relationships. Are we moving in the right direction or in the same direction with my partner? Or I'm trying to decide whether to buy this super expensive, gym membership, right? Or rather save money for some trip. Thoughts just pop out of nowhere. So when you are in a conversation, the same happens there. You just have random thoughts, random questions, and you have to think on your feet, right? Right away on spot. And here, it's very difficult to keep up with that pace of the thoughts that appear in your head if you have this bad habit of translating, right? You can't keep up. And I really like this saying that I wonder if you heard it, Cheka. So there's this saying, let me quote it actually, I have it here. Preparation breeds spontaneity. So let me repeat. Preparation breeds spontaneity. In this context, what does it mean to breed?
Generates or produces.
To create something, yeah? So it may sound weird and counterintuitive because improvisation is something we do right now without planning it, like naturally. So how can you prepare for something that you are not planning? Here's this trick, here's this thing. The solid foundation which you get when you prepare with knowledge, skills, and practice allow you to build on top of that and then have that confidence and creativity to respond to any unexpected situation, right? So in our case, in learning English, what is this knowledge, right? This knowledge is grammar, vocabulary, right? The structure of the sentence, what you mentioned. You don't want to compose it along the process like you were speaking, yeah? You want to give the right structure. And skills would be that. Speaking in English, analyzing, processing it, yeah? Thinking about response and having a conversation. And practice. I think we talked about this with you. Like you have to build a habit of deliberately thinking in English. And there are tons of simple exercises how to do that, right? I think we had a lesson on that. Like start simple, start with just describing everything you see in English. That's already first step towards thinking in English, right? Do you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I really like this point that you're making about being more comfortable with improvisation and improvising, because it's about being present in the moment and being okay with the unexpected. You did use some nice expressions there, Xenia. First of all, I remember you said thinking on your feet. What does that mean when you think on your feet?
It's, again, thinking spontaneously, right on spot when you were asked something, like you're thinking on your feet, like in that moment.
So if a person always translates in their head, that person is not really thinking on their feet because there's always that wall or
delay also, right?
Delay, right? Okay, let me translate it first and then I'm gonna say something in English, right?
Sometimes it takes eternity, right? To choose the right auxiliary verb. And you don't want to do that. Rather make a mistake, but go on.
That makes a lot of sense because if you think about it, we try to help people here speak English in real life, in the real world. And real conversation in the real world is usually random, unexpected, so you gotta be okay with improvisation, with dancing according to the music, right? Let's say. So I really like that point. That reminds me of a student of mine. At first, when we started having classes together, she struggled a lot with this. She would always translate in her head to communicate her ideas, and not only did that make her speech much slower, but also, like I said earlier, a bit weird in terms of sentence construction. But then, I talked to her about this and she became aware of that. And now consciously, deliberately, every class, she tries not to think, in this case, in Portuguese, but always in English. And you know what? Her communication skills have gotten so much better because of that. Now she's speaking with more fluidity, and the sentences she's actually coming up with make sense now. So sometimes it's just a matter of trusting our intuition, right? Because sometimes we think that we don't know much, but actually we know much more than we think if we just let it go.
Yeah, that's true. And I wonder what played the key part there in her transition from translating to thinking in English. Was it like, I don't know, immersion into language enough, or just like this deliberate thinking always in English, and how to do that? Like, for example, if our listener or viewer now asks, okay, I want to think in English, but like, how do I start thinking in English? Yeah,
I would say both points, Ksenia. She's a wonderful student that I have, and she's very committed, and she does practice her English every day. So that's the first point, and I believe you're going to expand more on this topic soon about living your English and connecting it to your interests. So she does that already, but also the deliberate aspect of it, because that was something that we discussed multiple times in our classes, the importance of letting go of translation and just using the English you already have, because you know some English already that you can use. So the combination of these two things, I would say, have played a key role for her.
Awesome. Yeah, you already mentioned like how we can connect it to Live Your English idea that we are teaching in our methodology, right? It's that it. Like anything you would have to do deliberately, you'll have to put in effort into that. And it won't work long term if you don't enjoy the process. So you have to trick the system. You have to choose what you already enjoy, right? So we want to talk about it again and again because this is such a simple thing that sometimes students just overlook. But that just really simple. So imagine you have your interests, you have your hobbies, you are into photography or you're into pottery or beekeeping or brewery. I don't know, to choose yours. Learn about it in English. So you know already a lot about the topic in your native language. And that's what might prevent you from thinking in English because you rely too much on your native tongue. You rely too much on that information that you got in your native language about this topic. Now start learning something new or reviewing what you already know, but in English, right? You will have that immersion because, even to internalize those language patterns, not to think about language structure, you have to get yourself immersed enough amount of time into language. So start with that. Find some videos, find some podcasts about the topic you like and listen to it just to immerse into language, right? And another thing is what I talked about in the past. To be well prepared for improvisation, you have to have a solid foundation. So with immersing yourself into language, you expand your vocabulary, right? And that's what it gives you.
Speaking on topics close to you first makes perfect sense. And like you said, it's something so simple and small that many people overlook. You use that word. What does that mean when you overlook something?
Don't pay enough attention or don't pay attention at all. Just like, right? Mm-hmm. You're doing something, but then you overlook some other stuff.
Yeah, that's it. By the way, guys, as you can notice, we have been defining some really nice words and expressions today. So make sure you download the Real Life English app so you can review all this vocabulary from today's podcast and practice it over there. All right, don't forget to download it. So yeah, I really like what you're saying, Senna, because we start with the topics we are interested in first. That makes it much easier to start thinking in English. And then after we feel comfortable with those, we can branch out and start maybe dealing with topics that are not so familiar to us. But, it's always nice to stretch our minds and our language skills, right? I really like that. One point I would make also about this is the importance of embracing uncertainty. I feel like students translate a lot sometimes because they need that feeling of certainty. I need to feel sure about what I'm saying. So first, I need to translate. But if you do that, that's never gonna, make you fluent because you will always have that insecurity, that security blanket, as I like to call it. When I was a kid, I used to have one. I used to have a security blanket. It was this little piece of cloth. I was 3-4 years old, and I carried that thing with me all the time. I love the smell of it. I always laughed with it. And I remember I used to call it Nana, It was my Nana, that little piece of cloth there. But then one day, my mother threw it away. I think when I was 5, she just threw it away because she realized that, it's time to outgrow this, Thiago. So no more Nana. Yeah, you are growing. You are growing up. So I remember that when I realized that I didn't have it anymore, I felt scared. I felt insecure. I felt lost. And bringing that to English learning, once you start thinking more in English and not relying so much on translation, maybe at first you're going to feel a little lost. You're going to feel a little scared. That's okay. But it's part of growing up. as a language learner. You have to mature, you have to grow up, and it's part of the process. So keep doing it, and you will see that you're going to start feeling more comfortable with not relying on translation.
It's also like, embracing your inner child, maybe, right?
I really love that collocation, by the way, to embrace your inner child. What is your inner something?
This is something that's deep inside, related to your inner world, right?
I love that. Yeah, just like your inner thoughts, for example, yeah? The thoughts that come inside of you, right? Come from inside.
Coming from inside, right?
Right. Playing guitar is a skill that demands many hours of practice. You make mistakes. You spend hours and hours in a room just practicing, learning songs. It can be frustrating sometimes. But boy, is it fun. And you know what? Something very similar is English learning. Learning English is very similar to learning how to play an instrument, like the guitar, for example. If you want to be a great English speaker, you need to practice a lot of English. And we have the perfect resource for you to add more practice to your daily routine with English, the Real Life English app. With the app, you can practice new words and expressions using intelligent flashcards. Our app works with the spaced repetition system, which presents you with the words you're trying to learn at strategic times, so you never forget them again. Here's what one of our app users has to say.
Overall, this app was great. Their teaching skills were well organized and filled with confidence. I can trust them because I've been watching their YouTube videos for a long time. This testimonial comes from Lee.
So what are you waiting for? Join tens of thousands of learners who use the Real Life English app every day to get confident English. Start rocking your English with the app today, all right?
I just wanted to, to add something to what I was saying about immersion and everything. We started talking about like hobbies and learning about topics you already know in English, right? Here, I wanted to say that I strongly believe in that, but no, I think it's better to say that it's actually a fact that language is inseparable from culture. So take advantage there, and really, in order to start thinking in English, you should treat English as a friend. So when we have a new friend, we really want to know more about their interests, about how they behave, about how they react to this or that. So let's come back again to that example from hobbies. Most probably, you'll learn something new when you watch some videos related to your hobby, but from the native's perspective. Don't you want to know how, for example, Americans approach beekeeping, or how Australians incorporate some Aboriginal traditions in pottery when they do pottery as a hobby, or when, Brits have brewery as their hobby? And I don't know, was it a joke or something that every second household in rural England has their own home brewery or something? But, when you will be watching those videos in English, you will be expanding your vocabulary and you will be putting yourself in those people's shoes, right? You'll see with new eyes on the things that are already familiar to you, and vocabulary will stick naturally and more easily because this is something you enjoy, this is something you are curious about, this is something that is close to you. There is this emotional aspect to it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's worth defining brewery because you've used this word a couple of times in this episode. So brewery is the process of making beer, right? You brew beer, you make beer, correct?
Correct. And brewery is like a workshop or like a place where you do that. It can be like a factory or it can be like at home, like homemade beer.
Yeah. But, that point you made is really important as well. Not only consuming content on topics that you like, but also from the native speaker's perspective, Americans, British, Australian, because, the reference is also important. Yeah. I mean, what kind of English are you exposing yourself to on a daily basis? That is also going to directly contribute to your ability to think in English and to speak English, because it influences the way we communicate, right?
Yeah, and learning language always goes like hand in hand with learning about the cultures and tradition of that of people who speak that language, right? Of that country.
Yeah, that is true. I would also say, Xenia, you mentioned earlier about the importance of embracing your inner child, and connected to that, I think that it's also important for you to be okay with speaking like a child. At least at first. This is one way for you to get rid of translation once and for all. Xenia, let's do a little mental picture here, okay? Picture an adult in your home country, in Ukraine, who is very successful in his or her field, professionally speaking. In my case, I picture here in Brazil a successful lawyer. I picture a Brazilian lawyer who communicates extremely well in Portuguese already. The person is articulate. The person is eloquent in Portuguese. The person has written articles related to law. The person is really well accomplished. All right? Who do you picture?
Oh, that's a nice question. I don't know. I thought of maybe an owner of a restaurant, of a fancy restaurant. You would call them chef, right? Or
yeah. So, or a restaurateur, we can say.
Oh, what an advanced word, right?
Right. It's so French, sounds so French, right? But anyway, going back to the lawyer that I picture.
Okay.
I said that he is very articulate, very eloquent in Portuguese. Do you think that if he is a pre-intermediate or intermediate level speaker of English, do you think that he's going to be able to communicate as fluently, as eloquently in English as he can in Portuguese?
That depends on the context, right? I believe like if he has some informal meeting with his clients, informal, yeah, he will do pretty much fine, right? It will be like great, but maybe he would need a little bit more practice and knowledge if he goes into a legal context in English, right?
That is absolutely true. And that's exactly my point, because I see that sometimes in students, because usually my students, they are well-accomplished professionals already. They are usually at the peak of their career and they are successful in whatever it is they do professionally. But the English is the thing that, holds them back. And I feel this frustration sometimes. Like, I know they can communicate wonderfully in Portuguese, for example. But in English, they want to communicate at the same high level, but they can't yet because they don't have the tools for that yet in English. So it's important to be okay with maybe speaking more childish at first, or not as a grown-up as you would like to speak, because you are still in the process of learning the language. That's my point. But if you keep doing it, you will get to that point where you're going to be maybe expressing yourself in English similarly to the way you express yourself in your native language, in terms of sophistication, I mean.
Yeah, you just reminded me of a video I watched last week with a French director. Her movie was nominated for Oscar, and she was given an interview. And so her English was like you're saying. She was okay in, maybe in the bar with her friends. But when she was giving an interview, she was like really making such great effort, and she was doing great job with that. Like she tried to answer all the questions in English. She was struggling, but she was trying. But when it came to some really specific questions that she really wanted to express her thought clearly, she switched to French and turned for help for her interpreter.
Look at that. So that happens, right?
Happens, yeah.
It does happen, but it's part of the process. Well, Xenia, let's do a quick wrap up here, or let's say recap of some of the points we have already covered today. So how can you get rid of translation? First of all, You have to actively, deliberately train your brain to think in English. It has to be deliberate and intentional, right?
Mhm.
What else have we covered today?
So start something that is close to you. I mean, like start thinking about things that are close to you. Learn more about your hobbies from the native's perspective. That will give you the certain amount of new vocabulary and confidence to talk about something you love in English and think about it, right?
Nice. And finally, like I said, embracing uncertainty and embracing your inner child. Be okay with sounding a little bit childish or not as sophisticated as you do in your first language, and get rid of that security blanket. Grow up, let's say. Grow up as an English learner and stop
Like it.
translating. Just,
Good.
like my mom did with me, when I was 5, grow up, you don't have age anymore to use this blanket thing anymore.
No.
Ksenia, I shared with you this week that nice video from Will Smith about skydiving. Did you get a chance to watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. That was nice. I mean, that was fun and thought-provoking.